Down to the feet, roll camera. Action.
What you wear, where you stand,
Thank you.
what time of day the light hits the drawing room.
Tom's here. He's gone to his room.
Every inch of Downton told a story, and the people behind those details made sure we believed every moment.
I suppose actors and servants are not so very far removed.
Downton Abbey was not just a series or a story, it was a fully realized world. From the cutlery to the corsets, every detail had meaning. Today, we open the door to the craftsmanship that brought Downton Abbey to life. I'm Jacqueline Coley, and this is Downton Abbey, the official podcast. Recently, I sat down with costume designer Anna Robbins and production designer Donald Woods, two visionaries who brought Downton's elegance to life stitch by stitch and brick by brick. Welcome, Anna and Donald.
Lovely to see you.
I can't believe we're here and saying that we're at a finale, like we're at the end of something. When I look at like episode 1 and how we were right after the Titanic, and that's like, early 1900s. And now in this film, we're going to the 1930s. So Anna, I'll start with you. How did you start there and end here?
Well, I came on board actually for series 5. So it already become this global phenomenon that had come through from 1912 through to 1925 was when I took it over. And my job was to come in and really stamp that 1920s aesthetic on it through costume, like really find the epitome of what that jazz age represented. And I think at that point as well, the time slightly slowed. So I think it had galloped through decades a little bit before series 5, and then in series 5 it kind of breathed a little bit, a bit slower, which meant I had a bit more time to play with, to kind of look at the trends each year. Each series was a year, and then each film was another year on. So I've kind of taken it from 25 through to 31.
It's still pretty big
It's
time.
still a huge shift in terms of the aesthetic and the kind of hemlines and waistlines and silhouettes of men's suiting and conventions of dress and all of that. So my perspective when I took over was for it to feel very much like a relay race, like a smooth transition from designer to designer.
I would like to thank you, Mr. Carson. You've taught me so much, and I hope one day I'll be a worthy successor. Mr. Carson.
Downton has a distinctive aesthetic and a real authenticity to the costumes, so I wanted to keep that, but further the trends and move the kind of, the fashion forward looks with every episode and every film that we did.
And then Donald, for you, I think it's also there within the production. I mean, the house changes throughout the entire series. To talk about how you sort of like made the distinction throughout the different decades.
Yeah, I was there from the start, 2009, which seems a long time ago. I think for the house, in a strange way, there's been less of a change. And I think that's what the audience have liked. They like familiarity, like you like something in your life and I think that's keeping that the same. But when you get new chances and new opportunities, certainly in all the movies, bigger opportunities, is to explore and have fun with those. So I think part of my job is to keep it the same, but let it be different in smaller and less familiar places.
Was there something that you got to play with in the 1930s that you felt was particularly new for Downton? I mean, just the technology that's sort of around the folks within Downton. I mean, we go into a flat.
Yeah, a flat, and also we explored London, and we got to experience big social events. The Great Yorkshire Show is a great agricultural show in the north of England. Royal Ascot, Royal Ascot in 1930, there's 70,000 people there, and it still is a big event now. And I think that's the extra we gave when we had the opportunity to make the films.
You've already kind of talked to it a little bit, Anna, but this is not a historical drama. We're trying to live within an imagined world. How do you sort of balance the cinematic storytelling with the historical accuracy? Is there like a coin flip when there's a tie? How do you do it?
Oh, I mean, I think authenticity, is really important. So rather than it being historically accurate, I've always come at it that I'm sort of editing the costumes with a modern lens. So the audience is looking back, and my job is to kind of collect the pieces that would make sense.
Good. You look just right.
Are you checking before I go down?
Maybe. I didn't want any trace of sackcloth and ashes.
I think it's just about enhancing the things that are right for the character and balancing that with what's right for the time. I was definitely enhancing what was already there, and with something like Ascot, where for me it was all about the millinery. So the hats were everything, and I wanted it to feel like a real Cecil Beaton Vogue spread. I mean, I've always been a stickler for construction being authentic and using a lot of authentic pieces as well. So I'd say there's a real blend between pieces that are actually 100 years old, sitting right next to a completely contemporary make that is got to sit shoulder to shoulder with an original.
What's your favorite historic piece, and what's your favorite one that y'all got to make?
Oh gosh, okay, that's really hard.
I know, it's like choosing between your kids.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I'll think of one and then I'll think of another, but so instantly I found this printed dress for Lady Edith. It's navy and it's got this absolutely beautiful print with a sort of caped sail back that Edith wears outside of Highclere when Branson arrives, and then into the drawing room with a scene with Cora.
You should know, I telephoned Guy Dexter. He's coming to stay, and he's bringing Noel Coward.
How exciting.
And it was just immaculate. It's 100 years old and it was immaculate, really beautiful, fitted Laura like a glove, as if it was made for her.
Oh my God, I remember this dress, so I'm surprised that was like a piece. Oh,
and then I think so then I've also done things in this film where we've taken a designer from the time, so Chanel or Vianney or Lanvin, and used that as an inspiration. And there was this one dress that was a kind of blush lace with a sort of chevron paneling, unbelievable construction, and we replicated it for Lady Mary. She wears it at dinner, and then in the scene with Edith where she confesses.
Why are you telling me this?
The truth is, I'm in a fix. And a great lady like you might have an opinion worth hearing.
Don't patronise me.
I wouldn't dare.
But yeah, that dress, really beautiful. So
it.
maybe that's perhaps a favourite. Yeah.
Wow. So, Dawn, I'm going to bring it to you. When you're talking about the historical accuracy versus some of those times that you have to deviate, how do you make that sort of choice with each individual location?
Obviously, working out from the start, the accuracy was there from the start. The downstairs, the servants' hall, the kitchen, and all the corridors, all the servants' area was my favourite set to build. It's quite simple, it's quite authentic, and the downstairs really is like a black and white film, and the upstairs is like a Technicolor film. So, including all Anna's costumes, it's all very muted, it's all very monochromatic, to its credit. So it looks like it's almost two genres in one film or one TV series. We've kept that through right from the first episode to the present film. And I think that's been part of the joy of it, is actually designing two things in one production.
I mean, yeah, I guess when you have Highclere Castle, it's like, well, that's the acquired one. And there's nothing that's going to top that when you have a place like that that can now be so well preserved.
We actually looked at 40 houses.
Really?
To start with. In the end, we did a lot online, but we visited probably 30, 40 houses.
Wow.
Was that the first one you visited?
It was the first one.
Oh, wow.
We thought we ought to go and look at some more. It looks lazy. But we visited houses. So that was part of the design process. It actually is quite a small country house in terms of its footplate. But the last film actually we did the Royal Enclosure. I designed the Royal Enclosure at Royal Ascot. It was quite fun to do. It's quite frivolous, quite pretty, and we needed to make it for real because action and scenes take place on it.
Can I give you a card in case you're ever in New York?
If we'd known you were coming, we could have given you all luncheon.
Don't worry, Your Royal Highness. We were happy in White's tent with my father-in-law.
Is Lord Grantham here?
He's with Lady Hexam's sister.
I'm afraid Lady Mary is having rather a difficult time.
I do love, too, like in the last film, you got to go to the south of France, and in this one, we get to explore London of that time, which is such an idealized sort of version of London and the West End. What was the best part about exploring London of that era?
Oh, I mean, I just love it when there's something new in the script that you can kind of immerse yourself in and spend time researching and find, source material, photographs from the time. When you go to somewhere like London, it's lovely because you've got all stratas of society. It's not just the aristocrats and their servants. It's the sort of middle class and the workers and sort of different environments that you can give real depth to, and it just makes the film feel really rich because of those different environments.
I'll ask you that same question now, sort of as you spoke about the upstairs and downstairs. How did you approach these new places within London, all of these new locations?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was finding Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, Shaftesbury Avenue, Well, basically, we recreated it in VFX, but all the neons we had to research, all the theatres, all the lights on the streets, and it was shot in a car park in the unit car park. But in the end, it looks fantastic, and that entrance to the theatre really raises the whole bar. I mean, it was just a line in the script, we're now in the West End of London. Well, we needed to do a bit more than that visually, just to say you're in the West End of London. So that was a big venture with the VFX company, and I think it works brilliantly. And out of that and the Great Yorkshire Show and Royal Ascot, they're all different. I think the difference is what you enjoy, that making each place feel as though where it is and is authentic.
What a lovely night.
The London season's always good fun.
Then back we go to Downton.
Few know the world of Downton Abbey better than Hugh Bonneville and Elizabeth McGovern. Next, they share how the breathtaking locations and meticulously crafted costumes helped them step right back into character. So, going to the south of France, and then in this one, going to the West End of London, you've gotten to sort of build out the world that's around Downton. Talk a little bit about some of the incredible locations you'll have gotten to do, going to London West End. What was that like, filming that sequence?
For me, it's just such a great start to the movie. There's this absolutely fantastic shot that takes you through Piccadilly, and you see the period street, and then you keep traveling into the theatre where they're all watching the show. The upstairs in the expensive seats, and then everyone in the downstairs in the cheap seats. And it's just such a exciting visual way to start the movie.
Yeah, you go to a flat.
Yes, we go to see an apartment block, and it's a fun scene, and actually narratively it's a pivotal scene as well.
How peculiar, a sort of layer cake of strangers.
But in terms of locations, we actually filmed in Richmond Theatre for the West End, but it's a classic Rossini March, beautiful theatre. The other key locations were in Yorkshire when we did the county show, which was at Harrogate, and Ripon Racecourse, which doubled as Ascot, and the Ascot sequence is so beautiful. It's right up there with My Fair Lady in terms of the atmosphere of it, and of course the castle itself.
Yeah, I mean, just having Highclere, that's going to be the biggest piece of production design. I mean, no acting required. It's just, it's just gorgeous. Another thing that we get in this film is there's commotion for the dresses. Cora's had some exquisite ones, but Mary has this red dress in this one that...
I mean, the clothes tell such a story.
Talk about working a little bit with the costume designer to shape Cora, because she is a mother of 3 daughters, so she's dressing different, but she is also coming into the times.
Yeah, she is. She's not some old untrendy fuddy-duddy, so I like that. And I didn't even particularly discuss anything with Anne. I never feel like I need to. I just pretty much stand there like a mannequin, and she puts the stuff on me, and I'm like, yeah, good.
When you have that kind of talent, I guess.
You just let it fly.
Why do they all want a picture of Mary?
Because she's so pretty, of course.
Lady Mary, got any words for our readers?
This episode is brought to you by Story Rabbit. Downton Abbey swept us away with its grandeur and intrigue, but behind the screen, the real locations hold centuries of history. The Story Rabbit app puts those stories in your headphones, bringing castles, English manners, and iconic sites around the world to life through audio. Wherever you are, Story Rabbit helps you uncover the true stories hidden all around you. Download the Story Rabbit app today, or go to storyrabbit.app for more info and uncover the true stories hidden all around you. Sometimes, the magic of Downton comes down to how seamlessly the characters fit into the world around them. Other times, it's the world that seems to exist because of the characters who inhabit it. When I caught up with Jim Carter, who plays Mr. Carson, he reflected on the locations and how one in particular, in the most literal sense, hit close to home. Carson will always sort of have, I think, a place of honor in Downton. It's very similar to all of the other people that are sort of passing the guard in this iteration. But let's put it this way. Carson's uniform is thankfully the same, and you don't have to do a ton of costume changes. But you've been around some incredible sets and locations. Do you have a favorite bit of the sort of world of Downton Abbey that you...
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was usually the upstairs cast who travelled more. I mean, we did get to go to the south of France in the second film, much to the annoyance of the rest of the downstairs cast. Mrs. Patmore and Mrs. Hughes were furious. Oh yeah, go on, off you go. Yeah, during lockdown, yeah, go to the south of France. Oh, you're locked down in a hotel in the south of France, are you? Got a swimming pool, has it? Lovely. Oh yeah. So that was a bitter moment for them. You know, in a funny way, there were times standing on the steps in the front of Highclere Castle there, which is what we used for Downton Abbey. I spend a lot of time there watching people getting in and out of cars and waving goodbye to them. But there were some times when the camera was set up and it was all quiet. Everyone else had gone and I was just there. And you can look out over the countryside and you can't see another dwelling. And I felt, this is my place. And that was a lovely, peaceful... I used to enjoy those moments. And then, of course, in this film, we go to the Great Yorkshire Showground to do the county show.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Yorkshire County Show 1930.
I was born 300 yards from there.
Wow.
I learnt to ride a bicycle on the showground roads because they were empty of traffic and stuff. And my sister, who still lives in Harrogate, where we filmed, came to visit. And you could just sit and look out over the hills and down the woods, you know, the stream beyond where I used to play as a kid. That was kind of nice.
That sounds like such an incredible full circle moment.
Yeah, it was nice. And I've told this story before, but you know, when Harrogate is a very nice Yorkshire town, but in the 1950s there were no traffic lights because there were no cars, you know, no cars around. But for 3 days of the year there would be the Great Yorkshire Show, which would be full of farmers and people coming in. It was a big agricultural show, so masses of traffic came in, and they had to bring in a traffic policeman from another town to conduct all the traffic, and it was so exciting. We would take a picnic and sit on the wall and watch the traffic. My wife, who was born in London, thought that is the definition of sadness. People watching a traffic jam. To us, it was exciting.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit too much Southern for it. I'm like, yeah, like imagine how simple and awesome that was the biggest stress of your life was. Like, I'm sorry, give me that. I would rather sit on a bench and watch traffic than deal with the stress of downtown London. Sorry to your wife.
No, absolutely.
In the main arena now, the judging of the Highland cattle. And in the Lost Children's tent, there's a young girl dressed as Guinevere. She's too shy to tell us her real name.
For Joanne Froggatt, stepping back into Anna's shoes required a little extra help this time around. Up next, she shares how Anna Robin's care and creativity helped her stay grounded, even when real life was quietly shifting behind the scenes. When you talk about sort of the world of Downton, and I know you didn't get to play as much with the costumes, what have been some of your favorite moments of like locations y'all got to go to or costumes you got to either witness, maybe not try on?
So many. I mean, Donal is so talented and so is Anna, our costume designer. Both are absolutely brilliant. You know, when we first started the first season, I'd see sort of the beautiful costumes and I'd be like, that's really lovely. Oh, I want to wear a pretty dress. And then I think about halfway through the first season, I saw how many costume fittings the poor girls were going for. And I was like, I'm really happy with my green dress. And then I'm really happy with my 2 black dresses.
Yeah.
I am so happy. They were made for me. They were made out of fabric that was very durable. So I could have a sleep at lunchtime and not crease.
Wow.
I didn't have sort of antique silk that I had to very carefully peel off myself on a 2-hour downtime or something and come back to. So actually the practicality of what I wore, I ended up just loving so much. And that's not to take away from the beauty of the costumes, because that is such a big part of Downton, and also the beauty of the sets and the intricacy of the work and detail of the props, the detail of when rooms are recreated in a studio. We're at Highclere. So the first season we filmed in the actual bedrooms at Highclere for Lady Mary's bedroom, and then it was decided it made more logistic sense to build those bedrooms as a set at Ealing Studios where we filmed, and they are exact. So walk in the bedroom, everything is perfectly as it is. And it's the most strange experience to kind of walk in somewhere and it just be exactly as you remember it, but you're in a different place. I mean, the attention to detail is incredible.
Wow.
And with the costumes, because I was pregnant during the film, my bump was growing. I had a bump on top of my bump to start with, which gradually got smaller as I got bigger. So Anna's bump could stay the same and the continuity could stay the same. So actually this film was the most costume fittings I did because Anna Robbins had to keep fitting me and also realigning my costumes because my body shape was changing and everything had to be made in a way it could be let out, let in. Like the structuring, it's like engineering. It was a real joy to watch them work like that actually because the effort and the detail that went into just my costumes, my changing shape was immense. It was incredible.
Oh, I absolutely adore that. Also, again, I would just be laid up somewhere with my feet up and you're like literally not only doing an acting work, but an acting work where you're being of service and you're like folding.
I mean, sometimes carrying the tray was a little tricky. I did have a place to rest it, so that wasn't too bad, yeah.
Lord knows what I'd have worn tonight if it wasn't ready.
You will be a sensation.
In a world as beautifully crafted as Downton Abbey, there are moments when the costumes don't just serve the story, they steal the scene. From the very first trailer, Lady Mary's red dress became an instant sensation. Once again, here's Anna Robbins and Donald Woods. Let's go ahead and be honest. Folks have already seen, no matter when this comes out, the red dress from that first teaser. I feel like the red dress should have had its own teaser. There's been a lot of commotion for the dress. So tell me everything you can about that red dress.
Yeah, but I think I had a very clear idea about where I wanted to go with this look. And we open with her shopping and she's in like a really rich navy blue, which is a very signature colour for Mary. And I wanted to then take her to the Petersfield Ball in red. And obviously we're embracing the bias cut gown now, so it's a completely different shape. And I knew we were going to feature very heavily front and back views, with her going upstairs, downstairs, into taxis, arriving at the ball, leaving the ball. It's kind of quintessentially Mary before her world comes crashing down. She doesn't know yet what's in store for her. And so after that, we've played around with a very different palette. So looking at much more muted, paler colours like, blush and biscuit. So that red dress was a kind of, marker before that shift.
And they will see what that shift is all about.
Also, when we were doing the location, it's in the first bit of the film. So I was very conscious, Anna showed me the dress, that nothing else should clash with it. That should be like, your eyes should never be off that one person. You should always be looking at that woman so that the star would be the star.
My name's Michelle Dockery and I play Lady Mary Talbot. The Petersfield Ball red dress is stunning. And I, from start to finish, from the first sketch to, getting on those last final touches was just such a incredible process because you get to be in the room with Anna right at the beginning and see where it starts and where it ends up. And sometimes the costumes really change. Whereas that one was, she had such a vision for what that dress would look like. And it's a real kind of siren moment for Mary.
Prince and Princess Arthur of Connaught are on their way. And the princess simply cannot be in the same room as a divorced woman.
And the palette works so beautifully with Cora and Edith. Cora in cornflower blue and Edith in blue and red. We all sort of blend really beautifully together. And it's and that dress actually you could see it now on a red carpet. It's so modern, that dress. I really feel like I want to take it from the costume rail and wear it somewhere because I think you get away with it. It's the looks are becoming much more modern in this time that it's set in.
While the costumes and sets bring Downton Abbey to life, it's the historical moment that gives the world of Downton depth and context. For a final word on the era behind the grand finale, here's historical advisor Alistair Bruce.
Downton Abbey is a narrative that sits within the frame of its history. It isn't 100% accurate because if it was, you wouldn't be able to concentrate on that story. A house like Highclere Castle, or Downton Abbey as we know it, would have had about 62 people working in it for the family. We have only ever at the highest point had about 8 to 9. So from that point of view, you start having to make allocation to what history needs.
Things change, my lord, and somehow we must change with them.
Very true.
Quite a time.
You're right, quite a time. And that means something to me. Would you tie this?
Downton Abbey has really stood the test of time. It has been a long and exciting journey. And if you buy your ticket and go into the theatre and the lights go down, to see something like that bring to a close, we will make sure that your journey there is wrapped up in a wonderful narrative. But you'll also know you are in its time.
Join us next time as we delve into the changing of the guard at Downton Abbey and explore how some characters embrace the future while others struggle to let go of the past. A huge thank you to all of my guests today. Make sure to check out Downton Abbey, the grand finale, only in theaters September 12th. I'm Jacqueline Coley. This has been Downton Abbey, the official podcast. Until next time. To get new episodes one day early and for other Downton Abbey exclusives, be sure to sign up for free to be a Focus Insider at focusinsider.com. The Focus Features Experience Sweepstakes. See Downton Abbey, the grand finale, plus one more film to start earning rewards. Watch all 5 for a chance at the ultimate cinephile experience and invite to 2 Focus Features film premieres around the world. Downton Abbey, the official podcast, is a production of Focus Features and Treefort Media. I'm your host, Jacqueline Coley. From Focus Features, our executive producers are Angela Vesagas and Jocelyn Brown. From Treefort Media, our executive producers are Kelly Garner and Mary Chalenza. Our lead editor is Martin Applebaum. Our lead audio engineer is Matt Dyson. Our associate producers are Aidan Brooks and Jada Williams. Additional engineering provided by Jeff Neal and Anthony Laurie. Additional production support provided by Mia Fernandez and Gabriel Skolansky. Special thanks to Julian Fellows, Gareth Neen, Liz Trubridge, Carnival Films, Jam 96, PMA Film and TV, and Framework Studios.